I was just about to win this brutal ultra marathon, and after 10 hours of deep snow running, I just wanted to be done. What I didn't know then was that the winning prize was an entry to an even tougher ultra in the Norwegian woods. I think it took me about like 2 days to think if I even wanted to accept this winning prize at all. But quite quickly I decided to give this other ultra a go and hopefully get another epic adventure. And of course I'm competitive, so I also decided to train properly for this and go for the win. But standing on that start line, getting briefed about some of the extreme sections of the course by the race director, I was really wondering if I would think that it was a prize I won on that last ultra or basically a punishment.
3, 2, 1, go! Motora!
Knowing the extreme terrain that was waiting us throughout this course, I wanted to go out easy and stay with the group in the first part of the race, getting out of the city of Moss in Norway, where this race takes place. What makes this event super challenging is not the distance itself. It is 75 kilometers or 47 miles, which is not super long in ultra terms. But big parts of the course are completely off trail, and the toughest part of the course, that is around 37 kilometers, the race director calls the longest mile. And it's basically 10 kilometers of off trail running in the middle of the harsh Norwegian forest, and I had no idea what to expect from this longest mile and how brutally tough it would be. And to be honest, I was a bit afraid of it, and in my head I just said to myself that I need to get to 47 kilometers still in okay condition. And this ultra being self-supported means that there are no markers whatsoever. You have to navigate yourself with your GPS watch. I guess the slogan for this whole event says it all. It's not supposed to be easy. So I tried to enjoy this first part that actually was easy, getting out of the city on the roads. I had said to myself that I was going to not start out too hard and not take the lead early in the race. But after the others hesitated a bit with the navigation, I found myself in the lead with a small gap. So yeah, the competitive nature in myself kicked in and I increased the pace maybe a bit too much. But I was excited to be in the lead. Not making mistakes with the navigation is a crucial part of this race. I have no idea if that was stupid or not, but now I'm alone after like half an hour of this race. My head goes directly to like stressing out, like okay, now I started too hard, now I will bonk and everybody will catch me and maybe I will not finish, but trying to just accept those thoughts, but instead enjoying that I'm feeling good. I gotta enjoy this because the likelihood of me feeling good the whole day is not that high, so gotta enjoy this moment. I'm in this beautiful forest in the lead on a nice trail, reaching 17 kilometers. And that's also where the first grocery store is supposed to be, first of two. So even though I had plenty of sports drink in my bag, I just gotta take the opportunity to refill and buy something small to eat. And yeah, because after that it's pretty brutal 30 plus K through the forest before the next grocery store. So I think it's worth the time. And I checked the tracker, I think I'm maybe 5 minutes ahead of the second place, so maybe this will cause me to lose my lead to stop at the grocery store here, but hopefully it will pay off in the end. I tried to get as quickly out of that store as possible because I think I must have just went out there before the others came. So I have a small lead, and looking at the tracker it looks like they stopped there as well, so my lead is still about 5 minutes, I would guess. And now I'm finally back in the forest and heading out to proper wilderness now. More than 30k until the next door. I'll try to keep my lead without overdoing it because the longest mile is still to come and I don't want to be dead before that. So now the real nature stuff started. Just went for a patch there with no trail, and I think I just hit the trail start here, or if you can call this a trail. So yeah, this is the part I enjoy, and I hope I can maybe increase the gap on these more navigation heavy and really physical tough sections. This is really my kind of course. No trail whatsoever, just pure nature, pure forest. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to keep my lead before we head into the real forest. Because I think, and I should be good at this navigation stuff and running completely off trail with my orienteering background. I just gotta keep moving forward and remember that it's still long to go, and don't start burning up all my matches because it's really easy to push a bit hard when you run off trail here because this ground is so soft. Out on a gravel road after a couple of brutal kilometers in the forest. I didn't feel more that much there because I just needed to focus 100% on navigation and just the maneuvering through that technical terrain. It seems like I got a little bit of a bigger gap, and now this faster section on the road I'll try to use as more of a recovery. It's tempting to like speed up, but I think that will just cost me. It's better to save the energy for the forest and the upcoming longest mile. I mean, if that patch that we just went through wasn't the longest mile, then I'm really curious how demanding and how slow the longest mile will be. My plan is to, the next 10 kilometers until I get there, run pretty conservative, hopefully not get caught, and then put on the gas in that really technical and tough forest. We'll see how it works out. So we headed back out into the forest, and these areas where they have cut down the trees a couple of years ago is probably the slowest areas because it's so much low vegetation here to try to get through, and water. Oh. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I'm going here. Still pretty tough running, but at least the navigation is simple here. I just gotta follow this power line. And still, this is not the longest mile. So I guess this is easy compared to what to come. I checked the tracking and it looks like I managed to increase my lead a bit, so that's good. This is not fast. This is not fast.
Moving through this terrain with these stiff legs is not the easiest, and it's only getting harder. A trail. So nice to see a trail. I'm out on this gravel road here and I'm trying to enjoy this because this is the last kilometer with a bit of fast running before the longest mile starts. And we've been through some pretty brutal sections already with lots of climbing and lots of off trail. So what Fulvio, the race organizer, has planned for us during the longest mile, I have no idea, but I'm in for it. I wanted to get here in a place without that much pain, and maybe it's foolish, but I want to try to attack the longest mile. Okay, here the longest mile starts. Heading into the forest. Wow. Okay, I gotta take it a bit careful. The problem when running through places like this with really heavy legs after been running for 6 hours is that you get more and more clumsy and like awkward, and that's not a good approach when you're going to try to navigate through terrain like this. So the most important thing here, not to fall and injure myself. Whoa. I think that I'm approaching the end of the longest mile. Yeah, here's actually a trail or some sort of trail. Oof. And yeah, this was brutal, but I think it was a good idea just trying to attack it, because as soon as you lose momentum and start running slow, the navigation becomes harder, and yeah, it's better to just try to keep a decent pace through it, I think. And hopefully I've increased my gap, but I'm starting to feel it. Knees are starting to feel it, and in general tired, but I think I was just so focused on the longest mile, so forget that it's a long way to go. I think the longest mile got to me. My left knee has started hurting pretty bad, so still in the lead, but it's a big question mark how fast I'll be able to move from this point forward. It's still so long to go, and now I completely ran out of water and energy, so I just gotta keep moving to the next food store, and hopefully my knee doesn't get worse. At least I can move at an okay pace in this pretty technical terrain. first time I'm sitting down in 8 hours and 10 minutes. So I guess it's okay to feel a bit tired, but yeah. I allow myself to stop for 3 minutes now to hopefully just get my feet off the ground a bit, and that will hopefully help a bit. So, but to be honest, right now I've come to the point where it feels hard to finish this thing. But I'm still in the lead, so I can't sit here all day. I got a bit cold, I need to put on my jacket, but I think I will get warm now because I'm climbing a ski slope. Not the biggest ski slope, but still a ski slope after 8.5 hours of running is a challenge, even though it's a small one. It was actually nice for my knee to run uphill. They're at least not going to catch me in this uphill. We're heading back to my hometown of Moss. But still over 20k to go. Now I want to be done. So I have a race to try to win still. I'm still in the lead and I'm still moving, but everything is starting to hurt now. At least it's a lot more runnable trails here. But even so, like small obstacles like this one costs a lot to get past now. But I think the route should be a lot more running friendly the last 20k here. So okay, 1k at a time. 1k at a time. Somehow my knee started feeling a bit better. I was so afraid that okay, this is going to be walking from here, but I can still run. And yeah, my toe started hurting pretty bad. Maybe that's why I don't feel my knee anymore, because the pain from the toe overrides the pain from the I don't know what I'm saying. I'm tired, but I'm still in the lead. I don't dare to see if the others are starting to catch up with me, because even though I'm running, I'm not moving fast. Even though I'm clearly suffering at this point, a deep part of myself really likes the simplicity of these kind of challenges. It's just about my mind and taking one step at a time. After a tough autumn with lots of heavy migraine attacks that really have put me down, I think I in a way needed this race to prove to myself that my body and mind is still capable of taking on and getting through hard things. And putting this self-chosen challenge in perspective to other challenges in life that oftentimes you don't choose yourself makes things like these seem less hard. With the thought of that in my mind and just trying to be grateful and happy that I get to do this, and that my body still allows me to run 11 hours into this thing, I fought on towards the sunset and the city with my mind set on getting this thing done and winning it.
It's not supposed to be easy. Nothing worth having comes without work, and digging deep to find the best of yourself. It will never be easy, but you decide how you deal with the challenge and who you wanna be and who you want your kids to see. It's not supposed to be easy.
The last climb before I'm heading into the city. Back to civilization. Oh, there's a deer. I don't know if I can see that. Hopefully it was not an hallucination. Pushing hard now to get under 12 hours. It can be doable if I can keep a good pace up this last climb.
After 11 hours and 51 minutes, I reached the same statue where I finished and won the entry to this race 8 months ago. And I concluded that this was the best prize I've ever won.